Imagine a city where the ground shakes with every explosion and the sky burns endlessly. This was Stalingrad, a city chosen to die, and yet no one would surrender. Summer 1942. Hitler's army was unstoppable in Europe.
The Eastern Front, oil and resources await. Here, we strike deep into the heartland.
Now his gaze turned east, toward the Soviet Union, and one city stood in his way: Stalingrad. It was a lifeline, the Volga River, factories, weapons, and the pride of Stalin's name. To Hitler, taking it would be a victory. To Stalin, losing it was unthinkable. German bombers filled the sky. Homes, schools, hospitals, everything burned. Thousands of civilians hid in basements, children clinging to their mothers, food and water disappearing with every hour. By September, German soldiers entered the shattered city. But Stalingrad was no longer a city. It was rubble. Every building, every street became a battlefield. Staircases, basements, even single walls. Soldiers fought inch by inch. The Germans called it the Rat War. One soldier wrote, "There is no city anymore, only ruins. By day, smoke, by night, screams. We fight for rooms, not land." As winter came, temperatures dropped, food ran out. Fear and death filled the streets. The nightmare of Stalingrad was only beginning. Winter 1942 arrived like a silent killer. Snow buried the ruins. Soldiers froze in tattered uniforms, and the bitter wind carried death through the streets. Every ruined building hid a threat. Soviet snipers picked off German soldiers from broken windows. One bullet could end a life instantly. The city had become a maze of fear and shadows. In the center of the city, a small apartment building became legendary. Just 4 Soviet soldiers held it for weeks against hundreds of German troops. They fired from every window, defended every corner, turning rubble into a fortress of hope. Meanwhile, Soviet forces launched Operation Uranus. German troops, confident and hungry for victory, found themselves surrounded. Starvation, cold, and relentless attacks trapped them inside the ruins. Soldiers fought not just for victory, but for survival. Food ran out. Frostbite set in. Every step outside meant death, yet no one could surrender. Stalingrad had become a frozen hell. Yet the battle was far from over. Winter had taken Stalingrad. Snow buried the ruins. Frost-bitten soldiers struggled through the icy streets, each breath visible in the frozen air. Survival was the only goal now. Food had vanished. Soldiers gnawed at frozen rations. Fingers were numb, faces pale. Every step outside the ruins could be their last. Death walked beside them silently in the snow. Every shadow held a sniper. Every ruined building was a deadly trap. A single misstep could mean instant death. The city had become a frozen labyrinth of terror. Yet hope lingered in the smallest of places. Pavlov's house, battered and snow-covered, held out against hundreds of German soldiers. Inside, Soviet defenders fought with courage unmatched, turning rubble into a fortress of defiance. Outside, the German Sixth Army was trapped, surrounded by Soviet forces, starving, frozen, and exhausted. Every attempt to break free failed. Snow and death were closing in from every direction. Finally, the inevitable came. Hands rose in surrender. Soldiers trudged through snow, defeated and frostbitten. The nightmare of Stalingrad had consumed them entirely. The city lay silent under the snow. Smoke still rose from distant fires. Stalingrad had survived, but at an unimaginable cost. The war would never be the same again. January 1943. Stalingrad was buried under snow and death. The German Sixth Army was trapped, starving, frostbitten, and hopeless. Every street, every building had become a tomb. Soldiers could barely move. Frostbite froze their fingers and toes. Hunger gnawed at their bodies. And outside, Soviet troops tightened the noose. There was no escape. Inside the ruins, snipers still fired. Pavlov's house, once a symbol of hope, now witnessed the final struggle. Snow mixed with smoke and blood. Each minute was a battle for life itself. Slowly, soldiers laid down their weapons. Hands rose in surrender, frozen and trembling. Survivors trudged through snow, exhausted and defeated. Stalingrad had broken the seemingly unstoppable German army. The Soviets had won. The city, shattered and snow-covered, bore witness to unimaginable destruction. Streets were empty. Factories and homes lay in ruins. But a message remained. Stalingrad would not fall. Hundreds of thousands had died, civilians and soldiers alike. Starvation, frostbite, and relentless combat had taken everything. And yet, the city survived, and the world changed forever. The wind blows over the frozen ruins. Snow covers the bodies and rubble. Stalingrad stands as a frozen monument to courage, sacrifice, and the human cost of war.